Minister, look, I want to welcome the Government's action plan for insurance reform, which was launched in December. I note the progress made to date and the update which the Government provided last week. I know that actions delivered on include the adoption of new personal injuries guidelines, a public consultation on enhancing the role of the Personal Injuries Assessments Board, new regulations on solicitors' advertising and a response to the Central Bank report on dual pricing. Many small businesses have been kept afloat with the assistance of government supports over the past year. I want to acknowledge the huge amount of work done by you, your department and Minister McGrath in that regard. But I think if businesses are to recover post-COVID, we must ensure that the reform of the insurance sector happens as quickly as possible. Can the Minister give a commitment that the issue of insurance reform will be addressed this year? Thank you.
Minister.
I want to thank both deputies for their contribution, and I appreciate the summary of activities we've carried out in the insurance sector as well. And I know I've concentrated on the judicial guidelines, but I want to say our priorities for the next 3 months include the reform of the duty of care legislation, which is very important for all businesses and especially sporting and voluntary and community organisations where accidents can happen. We're strengthening the law on perjury, and we're enhancing the enforcement powers of the Competition and Consumer Protection Authority, and we're expanding the national claims database operated by the Central Bank for the first time ever to bring out a report on employer and public liability insurance. So that public liability insurance report will be the first ever report we'll have ever had available to us, and it will cover all the issues that are being referred to here by the deputies. Finally, in relation to my reference to the Irish public bodies, they're a mutual insurance company generally operated by the City and County Managers Association and responsible to those, and certainly I would suggest to deputies to make contact with a relevant local authority manager, to contact the City and County Managers Association to see can they assist in relation to insurance for festivals and playgrounds.
Minister, for far too long, exaggerated and misleading insurance claims have driven up costs and impacted competitiveness. It was the case in previous years that businesses had to eat into their everyday cash flow in order to pay off the high cost of insurance. This won't be an option for many businesses post-COVID, as many of them are financially vulnerable. In the past, areas such as hospitality were hugely impacted by increases in premiums. Hospitality is one of those most vulnerable sectors at the moment due to the public health emergency. I'm cognizant that as businesses reopen, they are going to be in an exceptionally vulnerable position financially, so I would really ask the Minister to ensure that we get this right and implement the reforms as quickly as possible. And if you just indulge me, Lascion Corla, I suppose today I, as well as about 20 other senators and TDs, received a rapid antigen test, and I suppose just in relation to, to the hospitality sector that I mentioned, I believe that this type of product is going to be fundamental to what we do post-lockdown and with opening up. So could I just take the opportunity to maybe ask the Minister for Finance if he has any plans to maybe give a tax rebate, some kind of a tax exemption for companies that are supplying these types of products? Thank you.
Minister.
In relation to two issues were mentioned, especially the hospitality sector there now, and I want to confirm last Friday I met with the Irish Hotel Federation, and this issue is a key issue, but obviously they were concerned about the wider supports for the industry from the government, of which they are grateful for, and they wouldn't be continuing to exist without that very high level of support. And separately, today I met with a group of 20 hotels from the Munster region exclusively in relation to the insurance, and they made a number of key points which we are taking on board. Some of them are relying on underwriters from outside of the state, and that's an issue we have to look on, because it's not, in my opinion, a fair process that a number of the major hotels in the country are having to get their insurance from outside the country because of the instability in the insurance awards in the past. Some companies have been slow to do it in those type of businesses where there's a very high footfall. In relation finally to the issue of a state insurance company, I want to state I don't think we have any plans to go down that road. We're in the EU. There is free movement of goods and services. That's an essential element of why Ireland joined the EU. And for us now to say we're not willing to allow that situation continue, and we want to take over this level and nationalise the insurance industry in Ireland, I don't think is an option.
Okay.